Hey everybody, it's Ben here. Today's topic is building a tolerance level, or building up a tolerance to something we might be starting in our life which is new, which is surrounded by some unknowns and some uncertainty, and it's like a challenge that we can conquer that's going to benefit us in the end. So it could be like getting better in social situations, it could be getting better at public speaking, it could be learning a new skill, it could be playing tennis for the first time and wanting to learn, or playing a musical instrument. So for all of these things where there's unknowns but we are interested and we want to give them a go, we learn through the process of doing it. And especially if we've got some fear around it in the beginning, that's where tolerance is more a factor, I guess. By persevering, the fear will diminish over time. The first point I had about what can help us with building up a tolerance is seeking out the advice or support or help of a mentor or coach who's already got experience in the subject area. So this can help you just by having that role model, and that where you can learn from someone that does have the experience and who is invested in your growth and your learning. So it could be a music teacher if you're looking to play an instrument. It could be a life coach. It could be you could watch YouTube videos to go down that route and just explore the subject that you're interested in. Again, I'd have made some notes. If you're interested in reading, it could be reading books. Then communication is another important factor, because you could have a teacher, but if you've got questions and if you speak to them, that can get things moving in a better direction, because then your personal questions and queries that you have are being answered as well. So, for example, I'm seeing a relationships counselor because I want to build capacity with relationships, because that is something that always has been a shortfall for me. And it has been proving to be very successful, and it has been helping me a lot. When you see a professional, there might not be some things that you always agree with, or some things just don't sit with you or resonate sometimes. So I'm quite honest with my counselor. Like, I will hear what she has to say, but if something really doesn't resonate, I will say, look, I don't really agree with this for XYZ reason, and then that helps her then guide me further, because she knows my position about the subject, and that can help her to then better help me. So it's also important in these situations that you're speaking your truth, so that you can get the best help relevant for yourself. The second point I had is to have positive things that can help you through a transition or change, because when we're building a tolerance, we're going through a transition period. So I wrote down something that is living, actually, like something like video games are good as a distraction, but say if you've got a pet, for example, something that you can look after, that you can nurture, that you can care for. Because in doing this, you're going to be in a loving state. So it's a distraction, but it's a different form of distraction, because you're contributing to something that is bigger than you. In doing this, it's an expansive energy. It's not contractive. That helps build your strength. You'll be more empowered by doing this. You're going to feel for those of you who have had a pet, you know what I'm talking about. That energy, that expansive energy, then flows into other areas of your life, and it makes you a stronger person. in my mind, actually. So the next point that I had was your spouse or relationship partner. If you're in a relationship, a romantic relationship, because it's a union, you can ask for advice. They know you well, you know them well. Or anyone that's close to you, like parents or friends, for example, close friends. Anyone that knows you on a deeper level can really give you a deeper answer, because just simply for the fact that they know you better. But there's another point I had to this, which I think is interesting too. I think what's more important than a person knowing you on a deeper level is if they've actually got your best interests at heart. Someone can know you on a deep level, but if they don't have your best interests at heart, the advice they give you is going to be subpar. Someone that doesn't know you that well, but does have your best interests at heart, I'm inclined to think that they can give you a better answer. Like, I was walking along the river the other day, the Torrens River here in Adelaide, and there was a group of school students who were walking past. They must have only been about 7 or 8 years old, but there was a young girl within that group, and she yelled out to me and she said, "Hi, have a nice day," just from the riverbank, and I was on the slope, and she didn't know me at all. But the fact that someone has pure intent and does something out of care for somebody else, I think can mean more sometimes just the fact that they have the pure intent. So someone might not know you, but they can give you intuitive answers as well, because spirit can work through people even if the person doesn't know you that well. So sometimes that can also be good, even if the person doesn't know you on a deeper level, right? The next point I had was your spiritual guides who'll help you transition through a change. So we have to ask if we want the help. Ask and it is given, right? So that lowers the free will barrier by asking for the help, and that lets them help you without those barriers. So because they're all-knowing entities, they know you fully, they are working for your best interest, they do want your highest good. They know where you're at, they know what you need, and they can give you guidance specific to you. So that is, spirits can work through people too to give you guidance as well. So I don't think the guidance from other people is inferior, but your spiritual guides, that is just another resource that can help you. So why wouldn't you use it if it's available to you? So of course you're going to use it, right? Well, I do anyway. So the prayers don't have to be formal. You can say them in your own words, and they have to be probably a little bit specific. So if you say you want to ask Archangel Michael to help you, you'll say, like, "Archangel Michael, can you please help me with XYZ?" And it's really as simple as that. This is another thing we can work to build a tolerance level towards, because it can feel a bit awkward asking non-physical entities at the beginning when you're not used to it for help, or when we've never done it before. It can feel a little bit strange. I know it did for me anyway, but the more that you do it, the less awkward it will get. And that is an example of building up a tolerance level in itself, right? Because once you get used to the process, more comfortable, that is a prime example of building up a tolerance. So over time, it will feel like talking to a friend. Literally, it will. And it can be conversational. It doesn't always have to be asking the prayer and then it stops. You can have conversations and it can flow in like a conversation style. You might not always get the answer straight away. There might be a delay. So you might ask a question and then you might be washing the dishes, and all of a sudden an idea will just be embedded in your mind, and it'll just give you the answer. So you might even not know that you're being helped, but you are anyway. So that can also happen. And I always say thank you before I go to bed about just for the help and for the support, protection, all of the above, because the gratitude, just like if you had someone in a physical capacity helping you, really it's not much different. So it never hurts to be appreciative and say thank you. If it's something you don't know much about, you can meditate about it. So if it is something new and we want the specifics, by meditating you'll have a clearer mind, and that will make things clearer for things that are more specific if you do want to go down that route. So it'll help you build a tolerance, because ultimately a lot of the time building up a tolerance level is just developing a knowledge about the subject area. If it's something that takes a long time, that's okay, because it'll take the pressure off. Rome wasn't built in a day, and learning takes time. If you stress yourself out too much, you're just going to introduce blocks to the process, and it's probably going to hinder you. So if it's something mental or physical or whatever it could be with what you're trying to build the tolerance level with, you can break tasks up and give yourself a break just to decrease that that pressure, I guess. So I've got another event coming up called Positive Distractions, and it sort of relates to what I'm getting at here. If you break up the tasks, like say you're washing the dishes and something will just emerge in your mind, is an example of what I'm trying to say, because you'll have the mental clarity when you're focusing on another subject. So a distraction in the meantime, following the same train of thought here, but where you're looking after something else or somebody else, will always help you transition with anything, because you're taking the focus off of yourself and helping another person. Like, I have a friend and I went to his house in the holidays and I helped him clean his garage and just do jobs around the house, and it was more satisfying than if I was to do that for myself. So, but the intent has to be pure. That's one thing I will say. If you're helping someone and you don't really want to do it, the intent's not pure, so this won't really work. So the intent has to be there, and it's another level of distraction because there's more depth to it. And so the next thing I have for that is it's a soul connection. There's an engagement factor, there's love and care that's involved. It's richer, more fulfilling. You have the mental clarity because you're not focused on your own victimhood or your own problems when you're helping somebody else. You'll have the mental clarity, it'll be an expansive energy, and in that expansive energy you will get stronger, and that automatically will help you build a tolerance level, and it's going to be an automatic result. You don't do this to build a tolerance level, you do it because you want to do something good for somebody, but the tolerance level is just a natural byproduct of doing this. And it'll flow through to other areas of your life. Like, helping others will massively help you, and that's because you only get what you give. So it'll get you to the level straight away. It's like with me doing this here, I'm learning myself through helping you. So, and the answers that I get are quite different to what I think they're going to be, because I never really look at the solution first. I always put the problem up first before I've worked it out. So I thought this was going to be completely different to what I ended up talking about. So the answers I thought were going to be different. So it's really interesting for me because I'm learning through this as well. So I hope that gave you some food for thought. I hope you found it interesting, and thank you for watching.